Hey everyone, it's Joelle here, and I'm kicking off the new year to talk about one of the audiobooks that I've already finished. It is the 7th of January, and this is my second audiobook that I have fully completed, and it is Vox. Now, Vox, warning, I'm going to be giving away some spoilers, so definitely if you don't want spoilers, then just go ahead and click away now. But here we go. That was your warning. Anyways, Vox, let's talk about it. So I went into it briefly reading a description. I use the Libby by Overdrive audiobook rental library app thing, and my basic idea going into it was Handmaid's Tale, but they can't talk. So I started listening to it, and it took me like 3-4 days total. I don't know. You guys can check out my Goodreads. It's linked down below. And it was a quick one to go through. I listened it on to 1.25 speed. I liked the narrator. Her voice was very good, and she did a good job of switching voices whenever she went to different characters. I had so many problems with this book. So, like I said, I was expecting Handmaid's Tale-esque. Obviously, if you're not familiar with The Handmaid's Tale, essentially it is not post-apocalyptic per se, but near future, political and religious people have come into power to essentially create this pure society where women are basically like, it's the 1950s, women do not have a voice, literally, and they are meant to be breeders and stay in the kitchen and not work and not have an opinion or a voice, literally. So different from The Handmaid's Tale, they had these bracelets that they would wear on their wrists that allowed them to speak 100 words total a day. If they went beyond the 100 words total, they would get a lovely little electrocution zap, which, okay, cool. I'm into it. I like sci-fi. I like, dystopian type of style books and everything like that. So I was cool with it. So this story follows Dr. Jean McClellan, who is an Italian-American doctor per se, and she studies neuroscience or something like that involves like language and brain and shit like that. So we're following Dr. Jean McClellan and her husband Patrick, who happens to work for the government. We are in suburbia, Maryland, right outside Washington, D.C., which to me, hey, I too live in suburbia, Maryland, outside of Washington, D.C. So I was like, okay, this is cool. I can kind of relate to this. We got this going. She has a little shit teenage son who's 17 named Steven, who is my least favorite character. And then she has some twin boys that are, I don't even remember what their names are because they barely mention them. And then she has a 5-year-old daughter named Sonia. So unfortunately, her little 5-year-old girl also has the bracelet, and the girls and boys are separated into 2 different schools where the girls get to learn how to sew and cook and do basic checkbook balancing and stuff, and the boys get to do everything else. They have no internet access, no phone really access. They're basically not allowed to do anything. They're not even allowed to read unless it's the Bible. So yeah, Jean. We go into some flashback things between her now and her when she was at Georgetown University, which is in DC, which is a very liberal school in DC, and she's studying, and she's got this very liberal feminist roommate named Jackie, who is a Hispanic lesbian who's very much like Women's March, yay, cool. And I'm all for it, that's awesome. I wish they would have expanded more on that. And basically the whole time is like, Jackie is telling Jean, you need to be doing this. You need to vote. You need to have a voice. You need to give your opinion. And Jackie's like, nah, I just want to do school and stuff. So all the flashbacks are like, I told you so type of flashbacks. And basically very redundant repeat information of Jackie and Jean, and my God, if she mentioned that they had IKEA furniture and like thrift store furniture one more time, like seriously, we get it. You were a college student, you didn't have a lot of money, you had IKEA furniture. I'm a grown-ass adult. I have IKEA furniture all around me. I get it. It's cool. Whatever. I get that you had college. I get that you had a roommate. We have no idea what the timeline is. We know that in her flashbacks, there was Obama, there was Trump, but they were not named. They were named as the first Black president and then his successor. And then sometime after that, which again, no mention of what year it is or anything, there was this religious movement and another guy came into power and he took over, and now there's some radicalist things going on with religion and stuff. So this is kind of, side note, I don't talk politics ever. I don't talk about my stance on anything. This is not a dig at President Trump at all. It is a separate politician. And like I said, there is no mention of Trump. There is no mention of Obama. So it is, we know that it is after them. But anyway, somehow the country made it happen that this dude became president, and influenced by this radical preacher, reverend. He's a reverend. I'm sorry. They took over and started pushing their ideals. And in the meantime, so then there's this other storyline that is like the main storyline and everything. Suddenly there's this like medical illness where there's something that happens in your brain, in your left hemisphere of your brain, that causes you to basically have like a type of speech issue where, like, say I was trying to say the dog walked across the street, it would turn out to be carrot, bird, fly, tomorrow or something. Basically the word dissociation, like they're trying to say something but they can't actually say what the words are. So this is also going on, and there's no mention of where it came from, how it started, if it's taking over the US. We know it kind of is. It's also in other parts of the world. So this suddenly pops up, and it has a name that I can't even pronounce. And I was just kind of like, huh? So Dr. G. McClellan was working on a cure for this before all of the bad shit went down. And she's got Lorenzo, who is her Italian co-worker / lover. So we'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, they're basically like a year later or so after all this bracelet stuff went down. They're essentially called to be like, hey, you're the specialist on this stuff, and Reverend's brother or whatever has this thing, and we need you to create a cure. So she's like, okay, and they take her bracelet off, and she gets to go to her lab and everything with her old lab mates, and suddenly create a cure. Timeline seriously lacks in this story, because it doesn't take them but maybe like 2 days and they have this cure. There's no previous mention on how long it took them before with their research and their work and everything. We know that they had already had the cure before all this stuff went down, but we don't know anything at all. The timing is just really bad. So back to Lorenzo the lover. Here's where I have a problem. This woman cheated on her husband, Patrick, which, okay, I get it. They had a loveless marriage, and, you know, she's trying to justify it and everything. And apparently because she's Italian and he's Italian and he reminds her of home and her family, her like parents and stuff, suddenly it leads to them having a lot of sex. And, you know, cool, whatever, but not a big fan of the adultery aspect of it. And the fact that she doesn't even really feel that guilty about it either. Turns out she gets knocked up by said Italian lover. And again, she doesn't really feel bad about it. But timeline, we're so like, how does all this stuff happen? How long was this relationship going on? They briefly mentioned that it started before the bracelet saga or whatever. And the fact that she still goes home to her husband at night and like acts like she loves him. so many issues. And the other thing too is that, you know, they created this virus, whatever. Her kid, let's go back to Steven. Steven is a little shit. I hated Steven's character. Steven is one of those kids that quickly clung to the idea of the purist movement and went so far as to have sex with his girlfriend who lived next door and then rat her out so that she, on public television, was head shaved and sent off to a concentration camp. They have these concentration camps in this future society where lesbians, gays, and anybody who speaks up that is any kind of like protesting or anything, they just go. Anything that they don't like that anybody does, they go to concentration camps. They don't get to talk. They get to do like farming and fishery work. And that's where I think it was a ripoff of The Handmaid's Tale. I was very unhappy with that because that was a straight up ripoff. So Steven is a little shit and I don't like him. Sonia, however, the little girl, she's just a 5-year-old that doesn't really understand. And one of the agreements that Jean McClellan made was that her daughter, she'd get to homeschool her. Well, little did she realize when she made all these decisions, how the hell is she going to homeschool her daughter when she's working full time again? Hello, you didn't really think that through, Jean. So you know what she does? She finds the random mailman and's like, oh, hey, your wife's at home. Your wife can watch my daughter. She didn't even know the mailman. He's her mailman. And she let her little girl go just because she was okay with that. I would never let my kid go to a random stranger's house. No, she's so incredibly selfish, this woman is. And it really, really makes me mad. I just can't tell you how much I hated Jean. So not only that, okay, fast forward, they've got a cure, whatever. And she finds out that there's this resistance movement and her husband happens to be a part of it. So all of a sudden she loves him again. And basically he's okay with the fact that he cheated on her. What the hell? No. No. And, you know, Jean's knocked up and she's like, oh yeah, my husband's going to figure it out because he's a doctor too. Yeah, duh. If you're puking and you have a pooch, yeah, he's going to figure it out, you dumb idiot. And he's going to know it's not yours because you weren't having sex with him. But he's okay with everything. And he's like, you should just leave with him and go leave the country and everything. Like, who in their right mind is okay with that? I was so bothered by so many things. And fast forward to the end of the story, you know, it just kind of like ends up where she leaves. She leaves with the guy. Her husband ends up dead. And because he's the one who saved the whole entire country, not even her, this poor guy who's, you know, having to suffer through all of this stuff and his wife cheating on him, but yet he still sacrifices himself to save the entire country and pretty much the world because they're going to turn the virus thing with the brain into what do you call it? Like a bomb, but like they're going to weaponize it and just basically take out the whole entire country. So this poor Patrick guy ends up dead. And then his wife runs away with her lover and then decides, oh yeah, I guess I'll take my other kids too. So overall, I ended up rating this a 3 on Goodreads. As you can see, I didn't like it. I liked the idea of it. I liked some of the things behind it. It did reminisce a little bit about Handmaid's Tale, but the problem, it was the storyline timeline was just so messed up. Jean was so selfish, and I get that she was trying to be a feminist, and I get it, and that's cool, and I am not trying to sit here and say that any political or religious belief systems are one way or another, but my God, you need to be a little less selfish, lady. Stop thinking about yourself. Stop cheating on your husband. Take care of your damn kids. And, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Clearly, I'm angry about this book. I just didn't really like it that much. And I had high hopes for it. I also recommended it to people too soon before I even like actually got too far into it. I was like, oh yeah, you should go get this book, you know, great. And now I feel bad recommending it to people because it just was not good. But anyway, that's it. That's my review. Very quick, my first review of the year, and I'm going to continue to do these type of review style videos. Hopefully you guys like them. I've got Xena here snoring on my bed in the background in a very messy art section. But yeah, getting ready to put on a Karen Slaughter book next, which I'm really excited. I love me some Karen Slaughter. I think I need to stick with the thrillers. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I like. This just was no bueno. But yeah, anyways, if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. Comment. Let me know if you read this book, listen to it. I want to know your thoughts on it. Am I completely just misjudging everything? Did I miss something? Did I give away too much? I don't know. I need to know other people's thoughts on this. I have not gone and watched any other reviews or anything before filming this because I didn't want to be swayed one way or another. I literally finished it a couple hours ago and I just had to get it out, my feelings on this book. So please let me know what you guys think about it too. Definitely check out my social media links in the description box. Definitely Goodreads if you're interested in more bookish stuff. I'm going to be revamping my written blog soon, so I'm not going to put a link to that yet, but all my other social media, my email if you want to chat with me on email or for some reason, and Instagram is where I'm most active, so if you want to see kind of my day-to-day life on everything, let me know if you have any book recs. I definitely want to know some book recommendations. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.